Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining today, everybody. So we got another Tuesday discussion to go through where all of the content on Tuesdays comes from questions generated from the comments in Patreon, Instagram, and YouTube. So if you have a question, be sure to come back, leave it there. This is how we like to give those video responses. Today's question is, Jeff, what bourbons and whiskeys do you bunker and store away for a later date? What whiskeys do you always buy when you see them on the shelf? It was essentially that type of question, but in a few different forms. So I decided to kind of combine it all together into a single video. So I'm going to go through this topic. Be sure to come back in the comments, leave a comment on YouTube, and let me know what brand you can't resist when you see it. I'm going to break down this video in two different ways. I'm going to highlight first 3 brands that I was ahead of the game on bunkering, and 3 things that I would recommend that you buy today if you see it. So thank you for joining me today, whiskey friends. Let's kick off the show. All right. Now, when I have these Tuesday discussions, I always like having a drink with everybody here. And today's drink is a special one, honestly. I mean, based on the gold wax, obviously, it's got to be special here. I'm going to do this in a live wire whiskey Glen. Cheers. Let me pour this out here and I'll talk about this one. Oof. I'll probably just take half of this and I'll leave the little bit that is left for a later date. But this does tie into one of the things that at least I used to be able to bunker. But my favorite distillery is MGP, Ross and Squibb, KDI, whatever you want, or LDI, whatever you want to call it, man. Seagram's. So many names. But this one here was a Joseph Magnus pick that I recently brought to Pours in the Park. And hey, almost shared the entire thing away. And now I get to enjoy a little bit with you here. So this is I think a 13-year Joseph Magnus, originally distilled, I would say 2005, 2006. And it is 104 proof. Very, very good stuff. So cheers, everybody. So when it comes to bunkering, quote unquote, whiskeys and bourbons, I essentially have maybe 3 reasons that I would do this. A, I just can't get it again. So I'm going to buy it now because guess what? It's going to go away. So let me challenge you on something. Go into your local store today and find a Bell Mead bottle. Do you see Bell Mead? Do you see that brand on your store shelves? Do you remember that brand? Used to have that brand all the time. They had a cognac finish, a sherry finish. Oh, the honey finish. All those finishes. Where's Bell Mead? Bell Mead's gone. It's pretty much retired. Maybe it's distillery only at this point. I think you can still find that cast strength. I got one back here. Maybe you can still find that one every now and then. But the point being, these brands, they come and they go. They change. The masters distillers change. They change their strategy. They change their marketing. They change their distribution. They change how old they're going to age the barrels and what they're going to put in these blends. I mean, look at Elijah Craig Barrel Proof now. They're slowly taking away the age statement. Everything changes. These eras don't last but a handful of years, if that. So don't take for granted that what you're drinking today is what you're going to be drinking 5 years from now. That is impossible. There's going to be flavor creep. There's going to be different brands. There's going to be different people in charge. Everything is going to be a little different. over time. So if you really, really love something now, get it now. Get it now, put it away, and then you got it for later. And then you get to celebrate with it. So that leads me to the other reason that I do enjoy bunkering these whiskeys is that so when the moment arrives, I have a chance to open something special with friends, enjoy it, and just absolutely crush it, similar to the Pours in the Park scenario here. So the last couple whiskey events that I've gone to, if you see me and I got my whiskey bag, it's more likely that I've got some MGP from this era stored in there that I'm sharing with people. That's the whole reason for it. Hoard it and then share it. You see, at least it balances out that way when I use the word hoard, right? When you combine a hoard with share, it sounds all right. The other reason that I will bunker whiskeys too is that I give a lot of whiskeys as gifts. So if you're in my family, if you're a friend, it's your birthday, it's Christmas, guess what? You're getting a bottle of whiskey. I buy the whiskeys all year long and then I give them away as gifts. I can't resist sometimes when I see something and it's like, well, I'm going to buy it. I'm not going to drink it, but I know my brother-in-law is going to drink it. So I'm going to buy it for him and give it to him for his birthday. That might be 5 months away, but gosh darn it, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to give it to him on his birthday. So I do give a lot of gifts away when it comes to these whiskey bottles. All right, let's get into it here. We're going to highlight 3 brands that I was, I guess, ahead of the curve on and got to bunker at least a case or 2 of these. And then I'll give you 3 things that I think people are sleeping on today that probably won't be around much longer. So let's get into it here, whiskey friends. Thank you for listening to me this far. Man, gosh darn, the oak on that finish is real, real good. Honestly, though, that pick is probably like an easy drinker of a pick, being it's 104 proof. It doesn't have a whole lot on the mid palate or the back end, but the oak on it is just so velvety delicious. So when it comes to the things that I do have a good bunker and a good collection of, the first one I'm going to highlight is going to be the Elijah Craig barrel proofs. So this one's an unopened. What did I grab? A C919? Yeah, C919. I know I've got an unopened C917, C918. I got a whole bunch of like those years backed up when it comes to like 2018, 2019, 2020. And then 2021 came around and I was like, I'm not backing these up anymore. It's just kind of one and done when it comes to some of those mixes. And I really haven't felt the urge to have a backup of one since. But once again, it kind of proves the point. There was an era there. I mean, especially if you collected these pirate bottles back in the day. Holy cow. But there was an era there for it. And I was able to see them and I was able to collect some of them. And now I get to open them up because we're doing this fun thing where we're trying to review all of the Elijah Craigs across the whole series if we can. We don't have all the pirate bottles, but at least among the ABC batches. And at least I've got them bunkered and now I'm going to open them and do them at least for the channel and do reviews on them. It'll be fun. The other one that I'm real happy, I got about 6 or 7 of these left. Man, I wish I would have had more. I could have bought in so many of these. I could have bought like endless cases of these. Not that I know where to put them in my house, but we're going to get into the Knob Creek back when they used to do these single barrels. So if you look at this one here, distilled in January of 04 and then bottled in February of 2019. So this is a 15-year store pick. I'm pretty sure this ran me $45. I mean, come on. You see it? If I saw a pick that was 13, 14, 15 years old, I just bought it on the spot for a while. And then the last one I'll highlight, it's pretty much the same story as that Joseph Magnus, but I do have maybe 2 cases left of some MGP picks from this era. So be it OKI that I got in my hands here. So this was a single barrel here, and this is one of the 129 bottles in that. So kind of a short barrel, 12 years, 115 proof. Guess what? This is going to get opened at a whiskey event at some point here. its time will come. We will crack it and we will enjoy it. So those are the three things that I bunkered for myself over time. And now those were the legacy brands, let's say. The things that I was collecting back in 2018, 2019, 2020, where I felt at least a little ahead of the curve. Let's get into what I think people should be buying now if they see it, because I think the same thing's going to happen. These things are going to go away inevitably. The first one that I'll highlight here, I think this is one that people sleep on, actually, but it's the Rebel 10 single barrels. I see these on the shelf all the time, 80, 90, maybe $100 max. If you do see this on the shelf, open it up, and I want you to look at the bottle, because sometimes these things are 12, 13 years old. And the trick about these things, by the way, if you do it blind against an old Fitz in the decanter, guess what? It tastes the exact same. If I got a 13-year or 12-year Rebel 10 and I compared it to my old Fitz 13, same thing. It's sourced. It's almost indistinguishable when you do them blind. And people sleep on these. If you see those old Fitz decanters, you're buying it for twice as much, 3 times as much. You're probably not even hesitating. And you're walking by the Rebel. Who knows how long these will be on the shelf still, especially be on the shelf and offering things beyond the age statement here. They say 10 years, but you open it up, it's 12 years, 13 years. Ridiculous. The other one, this might be a little late, but I think there's still a little time, and maybe we can combine this with some Barton in general. But supposedly Barton. Hey, lucky 7 proprietors here. So if I see these, I buy these. This was a 14-year here. Now we're up to some 15 years now. Anywhere between 150, 200 bucks, I'm probably still going to buy it, bunker it. Very, very special whiskey. Particularly if you see this and it's sourced, you think from Barton, maybe it's the 18% rye. The pricing's somewhere in there, the $150, $200 range for something that's got some good age on it. Also, make sure the proof is high. I definitely think these things drink a lot better at 130 plus proof. Another thing that I would bunker anytime I see it today. And the last thing that I'll highlight here, though, this is very, very familiar with that Knob Creek example. Before Knob Creek 13, 14, 15-year picks went away, there were rumors that they were going to go away. And then they didn't go away. They just kind of hung around for 6 months, 9 months, maybe even a year. And they didn't go away. And then all of a sudden they were gone. And it was all 9 years. Like, it just happened. So it's like all the rumors, you didn't believe them, and then they just happened overnight. I hear the same things about this light whiskey. I don't know, though. It seems to be stretching on a little bit. These barrels keep going. But when it comes to this light whiskey, and I'm going to highlight an Optanium here, but, we're talking about 15-year-old light whiskey. This one's got a cool sticker on it. Look at Kira's Revenge. Look at that ridiculousness right there. But yeah, this 15-year light whiskey, a lot of the times they're selling it for $80, $90. It is delicious candy. Man, of course I'm going to buy these. I got a whole shelf of these. I probably got about 6 or 7, 13, 14, 15-year light whiskeys. Hey, we'll open up and have some fun with them later. But keep an eye out for those light whiskeys. Don't sleep on them. Some of them are finished too, and the finished ones can be really, really, really good. So those are 3 things that I traditionally bunkered. Not that I can get those first 3 brands anymore, but it just kind of highlights what I was into at the time to set the context for why I'm recommending these 3 brands now. I think they'll go away. So you either buy them now or you never buy them at all. Or you get FOMO and you pay like 5 times for them later. Don't do that. Just buy them now. So that concludes today's whiskey discussion, everybody. Let me know what you like to collect in the comments. What are the things that you see on the shelf that you just can't resist? You're not going to open them maybe for a year, maybe for 2 years, maybe for 5 years, but you're buying them for a reason. What are the brands and what's the reason that you're getting that brand? So let us know in the comments. And if you got a question, leave it here. We'll get to it as soon as we can. So thank you for joining me today, whiskey friends. We'll catch you on the next Tuesday discussion. Goodbye, everybody.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with